You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. That's the definition of a good-looking person. Always looking for and finding the good. And we have good in abundance, overflowing today. I am just so humbled and honored and happy that we're going to have with us one of the more interesting people you've ever had the pleasure of listening to. Her name is Elizabeth Chiriboga, and she is going to share with us about how we teach ourselves, our children, and all other beings how to be in harmony with all beings. Oh yes, this is amazing. So you've tuned in to the Joy of Living podcast, and you did it for one reason and one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. That's right, Y-O-U. And that's great, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And the result is that you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? So you know that you're using your most valuable asset, your time, to listen to your humble host, Barry Shore, the Joy of Living podcast. And we discuss the three fundamentals of life. And these three fundamentals, of course, will make you happier, healthier, and wealthier. And they are, number one, life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. In this case, a good number two. You go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for Make a Difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, right now, this wonderful podcast is being carried around the world and listened to by over 380,000 people all around the world, and we appreciate it. And thank you for sending your family and friends every week, because we're at 350 a few months ago. Now we're at 380,000. I urge everybody, as I do each show, love the podcast, rate it, and share it with 5 people. You want to do 50 or 100, it's up to you. But share with at least 5 people so we can touch 1.5 million people around the world every time. So imagine this show is carried on the internet. Ask anybody what the internet stands for. You say www. What does that mean? People say the internet. In our world, it stands for What a Wonderful World. And what is the word, right? W-H-A-T-A. Of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Louis Armstrong Satchmo for naming that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral. And whenever you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? It can't help you smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you're going to integrate, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I got to tell you, I do a lot of webinars in person. I just recently did an in-person situation with 1,172 people. And I'm telling the story about Barry Shore, and I'm talking about seeing miracles in life every day. And some people raise their hand and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. You have water, drink, you have food, you have a place to sleep, you have family, you have friends. Every single one of those is a miracle. What's the proof? Simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, you're here listening or you're watching. You have an obligation to live life to the full. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, living life to the full and spreading the juice of kindness around the world. So I'll tell you a quick story. Imagine, if you can, story about me. I'm standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from my neck down. It was not an automobile accident. It wasn't a spinal injury. It was a rare disease which took over my body and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moved. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs, my hips, my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I can't walk up a stair by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of this one word. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. I'll tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago. She says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of babes. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a wonderful acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. We're going to do a lot of rethinking today in what we call a shift in perspective. Now, I've been dealing with people for over 4.5 decades, and I can tell you 97.2% of all the people I begin working with, they drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to be careful with your F's. You want to shift your perspective just slightly. And then what will happen? You'll be able to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever know. And they are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your pathway in life and your trajectory. Now, I got to warn Lisbeth, and everybody listening that I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it because of the shock value and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, free, gift, play, pray, swim, PETA, PETA, and the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes. F-U, capital N, capital N. Some people raise their hand and say, hey, Barry Shore, fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends, point your finger, have a smile on your face, a twinkle in your eye, and tell your friend, family and friend, F-U, everybody. But add right away, capital N, capital. So where'd you get that? So listen to Barry Shore, The Joy of Living. And then you'll be able to talk to them about what you're doing today with Elizabeth and Barry. It's so wonderful. You're going to love it. Now imagine from now, what I want to do, just before we bring on Elizabeth, I'm going to ask everybody to learn to use the 2 most powerful words in English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. And you do this and you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 2 words, of course, are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank is a great acronym that stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. Kind stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody that I want to share with you that inspires noble deeds more than the wonderful, amazing Lisbeth. Wonderful Lisbeth, please say hello.
Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, Barry, I am so inspired by just your whole introduction there.
Well, we're jazzed to have you here. If I started reading all the wonderful things about what Lisbeth has thus far accomplished in life, it would take the rest of the show. But I'm going to give you 3 data points. Number 1, she was, and I think you never leave this, she still is, but I mean, not physically anymore, a teacher in the New York public school system. And that's like being a police person. That's a tough job, but she did it wonderfully and she excelled. She did that for 12 years. So she understands the role, the process of how you integrate teaching in a fun way. I think that's safe to say. The second thing is that she's the program manager of the PETA. PETA, for anybody who's not living under a rock, stands for the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. PETA is the abbreviation. And she heads up the TeachKind program, which is the reason I asked her to be here today. And the third thing is that she knows, as well as anybody on the planet, that when you can change the way you speak, which comes out of the way you think, and it affects the way you act, we literally cause a shift in the planet. That's what we're about. Now you got to keep that F in place so the other stuff happens. You want to cause a shift in the planet. So Elizabeth, let's just jump right in and do what we need to do just to begin the process. Tell us, please, because this is a worldwide audience. Tell us, please, what is PETA from your perspective, and what specifically, we'll start with PETA, and then specifically what the TeachKind program entails.
Sure. Well, it's such a pleasure to be here with you, Barry. So inspiring. And yeah, PETA, which, like, as you mentioned, stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. Our mission is to help animals and to help people understand how to help animals around the world in all different situations, whether they're being used for entertainment, being used for food, being used for experimentation. And there are so many ways, and there are so many people who care about animals. One of the reasons humane education, what I work in, is so important and so engaging is because as children, we naturally care about animals. And, so we want to foster that natural affinity, the natural empathy that children have for animals, and not desensitize them to animal suffering or to the suffering of other living beings. So TeachKind is the Humane Education Division at PETA, and we're former classroom teachers. And we work with teachers, schools, homeschoolers. We create lessons and materials that simultaneously, and this is very important, simultaneously foster compassion for all beings and help children develop academic skills as well. We don't believe that these two things are mutually exclusive. And we also like to call that feeding two birds with one stone.
Woo! And we're going to talk about why you spoke that way. And that's part of everything we're doing in the show. So I'm going to urge everybody to understand something. You don't have to take notes. Matter of fact, I'd urge you not to. Please don't take notes. Just lean in and feel the experience, because everything you want to know about PETA and the TeachKind program and Elizabeth is going to be at my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE, barryshore.com. You go there, everything you want to know, all the it's just so wonderful what's available to everybody. I mean, everybody in the world. You don't have to give money. It's all available to you at no cost, because the purpose of PETA is to develop the humane aspect of humanity. I'm saying that myself. And I want to emphasize something that you mentioned here, which is truly wondrous. And that is the integration, not mutually exclusive, the integration of the natural process and harmony that children specifically have for animals and academic excellence. It's not as if we're doing one or the other, or we do one and one. It's really 1 + 1 = 988,000. Because really what happens is, as you foster and grow as a human, you have greater capacity for learning and not only learning, but putting those skills into practice. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. And I've seen that firsthand throughout my entire teaching career. Once you tap into students' empathy, their natural empathy for others, for natural empathy for animals, you see that carry over into their interactions with their peers. And so many challenges these days with behavior in the classroom, with antisocial behavior. So this fosters pro-social behavior. And I love all your acronyms, Barry, and they really go so well with what we're talking about today. Living a purpose-driven life. So one of the things, and the miracles that can happen every day with this kind of teaching, because it's really in my view, it's the lowest hanging fruit these days, because children already love animals. We don't have to try to get them to love animals. We're always trying to force them to care about each other and their peers. But
Right.
if you just foster their natural empathy that they have for animals, you'll see it carry over into their interactions with their peers. I'll give you an example. I had a kindergartner one year, and I used to teach in the Bronx. So Many of the kids had rough home lives at home, living in the projects and so forth. And this one kindergartner, he also had a rough home life. His father had been incarcerated. His mother was away a lot. So he took his frustrations out on the other kids, but his natural love for animals really shined through that tough exterior. He used to try to, protect the pigeons on the playground at recess from the other kids chasing them. And so when he would have conflicts with other students, I would remind him and say, you know that the way that you feel about animals when you're protecting the pigeons, when you're protecting the ants, you can have those same feelings towards your peers. And he would quite literally stop in his tracks and start thinking. Even at that young age, he started to get it. So just imagine if we reinforce that year after year after year, what could happen, the miracles that could happen.
Miracles do happen. And I want to add something just happened recently. So I have two grandsons. One's almost 7, the other's 4.5, and they're brothers. So oftentimes they get along, and oftentimes they don't. Well, recently we had them, and we went to a dedication of a new school, and they were there's a big playground, and they have these bouncing things, 5 or 6 different ones. The kids are running and doing it and loving it. And then my grandson's calling and saying, "We heard there's a petting zoo. Where's the petting zoo, Papa?" That's what they wanted. So I brought him over to the petting zoo. That made all the difference. All the running and the jumping and the bounces. It's wonderful. It's the petting zoo, that tactile experience of touching another living being, that really made their day. I could see it. Now it happens to be also their mother is very oriented towards, and the father too. They have birds and they have dogs. Okay, so it helps. So I not just endorse everything that you're saying, wonderful Elizabeth. I see it. It works. And the other opposite is just the same. Antisocial behavior, because you can see if children mistreat animals, that is a deep-seated antisocial behavior function, and we need to be aware of it. So let's talk about the beginning right now. Talk about the process that you are working with and constructing and heading up, which is called TeachKind. And just from some statistical point of view, how many people do you think, I mean people, I mean kids, everybody, how many people do you think actually are touched by, first of all, by PETA, both in the United States and worldwide, and with this wonderful program?
Wow, but it is hard to measure. But we have put together metrics from time to time to try to see like our reach to teachers and children, because really when you impact teachers and help them learn how to do this kind of work, you're impacting children for years to come. So that's a lot of reach. And then we have a whole outreach to parents and children as well. So younger children, like under 12, with our whole PETA Kids program. So we're talking in the millions. And
Again, for anybody, hope is one of my big forces in life. Hope stands for helping others progress every day. That's what hope is. That's what you're telling us, right? Again, everybody, just go to barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE, barryshore.com. Everything you want to know, all the materials and such are going to be there, because we're impacting millions. And with the shift for millions, that is going to shift the planet, because we're in a bit of a darker time now, a darker time than it's been in a while. And it doesn't matter, because light is always greater than darkness. Am I right on that, Elizabeth?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just wanted to touch on something you said regarding the petting zoos. What I have found in all my years is that what's most important in this type of work to really engage and motivate young people is to bring them into the world gently of what's happening to animals in the world. And that really galvanizes them. So, like I've seen reluctant learners, reluctant readers who didn't want to pick up a book learn that elephants may become extinct in our lifetime if we don't stop poaching them, or that some people chain their dogs outside 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then they can't get their hands on enough books about animals.
Oh, I
So,
love this. Thank you.
yeah, so that
that's
is the key. That is the key,
Yes.
because yes, kids get very engaged when they see animals, but it's kind of, that's a little bit more superficial. What humane education does is really dives in a little deeper.
Okay, well, I
And
want to unpack
also,
it. Look, I'm going to put you on hold. The deeper dive is what we're going to do. We have sponsors that love the show, and we love these sponsors. We wouldn't urge you to consider using them if we didn't vet them. They're good for you, and therefore we love them. So we'll be right back with more Elizabeth and TeachKind right after this brief message. Don't go away. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings. Have I got something special for you? Yes, it's going to prolong your life. You're going to thank me. This is called Prolon, Prolon. Now, let's be blunt. Everybody knows that fasting is healthy. You know that fasting also can be challenging. Hello, I'm not going to eat, but with Prolon, you're going to be able to eat and fast at the same time. Does that sound strange? Well, it is, but it's not. So get this. Prolon isn't a diet. Prolon is science based on prize winning discoveries in medicine. And it all starts with Prolon's 5-day program: snacks, soups, beverages, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state. It's unlike anything you've ever experienced. Now, I can tell you, I've been doing intermittent fasting for many years. Everybody knows fasting is good for your mental acuity, for your physical being, for your overall well-being, and reducing your blood sugars. So I want to urge everybody, I use Prolon. It's exactly what I do use, and it's convenient, and it's backed by this great science, and most importantly of all, it works. So here's what I'd like you to do. Prolon is offering the Joy of Living listeners, that's you, our dear beloved audience, 10% off their 5-day nutrition program. Go to prolonlife.com/Barry. Now that's Prolon, PROLON life.com/Barry for this special 10% offer. Go to prolonlife.com/Barry. You will thank me. You'll be sending me notes, and I urge everybody, do it. It's good for you. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, good-looking, so I was looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. It's a human being. Her name is Elizabeth, and she heads up the TeachKind program for this great organization called PETA, P-E-T-A, which is a worldwide organization, mostly in the United States, and we're making a shift in the world. Now, you keep that F in place so the other stuff happens. And we were just talking about our intrepid heroes, wonderful animals, and the ability for, we're talking now mostly with children because we want to affect really deeply the next generations. And she talked about this idea of people, kids who are reluctant learners today, or reluctant readers, especially because of the preponderance of video. And yet when they interact with animals, let's say at a petting zoo, and then they become aware of the possibilities that animals, certain ones, especially let's say elephants, may not be here. Well, that stimulates enough to say, what? I want to know more. This is the genius of the program. I want to know more. Am I correct on that, wonderful Elizabeth?
Oh, absolutely. It really engages them. And we actually at TeachKind, we encourage teachers and all educators of all kinds to bring children into the world of the natural world of animals, like observation, from a considerate distance. So and to understand what happens behind the scenes and places like petting zoos, how they travel from place to place. They're not always humanely treated.
Gentle.
They're not always humanely treated, or going to places where, children, like to have touch tanks or places like that, because we, as the adults, we have to take a step back and think, what happens behind the scenes? How do these animals live? And also, when we talk to kids about, giving consent or not consent to be touched, and then we have to think about what message it sends if we, bring an animal to a child and say, go ahead and touch this animal, where the animal can't really give consent. So these are just some things to think about, because I know a lot of educators have very good intentions, bringing an animal into their classroom, and then, putting them in the corner and feeling that it's going to promote responsibility and get students to care about animals, but it's fraught with problems. And, like, just for example, a fire drill happens and you're on the other side of the building. You have to go out with your class. No one's going to let you go back in to save the animal in your classroom. And right then and there, you've sent a message to the children that you only take care of these living beings when it's convenient. So we always encourage educators. We know that so much regarding, bringing animals to children and talking about animals is so well intentioned, but we have to take a step back as the educators, as the adult, and think about what, like the full context, and how the animals are being treated behind the scenes. But with that said, that deeper dive, just the deeper dive into talking to children about what happens to animals in the world, especially Gen Z, who we're teaching now in the schools, they have such a disdain for exploitation and injustice. So
wait a minute, can you just please repeat that? They have such a disdain.
A disdain for injustice and exploitation. So, and they're very interested in the climate crisis. And one thing, some things that don't get talked about in school, one of those things is how animal agriculture impacts significantly the climate crisis. We call things like that the pages that are missing from your textbook kind of topics.
Wait a minute. That was a beautiful line. The pages that are missing from the textbook.
Yes.
By the way, I got to embarrass you. This is one of the reasons why I love speaking with Lisbeth, because she is an educator, not because that was what her role was, how she made her living. This is her whole being. And she's so good at bringing out these interesting ideas, pages missing from the textbook. And that's what we as parents, who are the ultimate real teachers of our children, as well as the people in the classroom, that's what we want to do. We want to fill in these missing pages and enable these wonderful young minds full of mush to really be attuned to the living world. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, I counsel teachers all the time, one-on-one, on the phone or through Zoom, about how to integrate these topics into their existing curriculum. This is not something that you need to do that's extra. This can be all incorporated, aligned with Common Core standards or whatever your state academic standards are. And they tell me things like, this reminds them why they got into teaching. Has re-inspired them, reinvigorated them. And we have a crisis now with teachers leaving in droves. So we need to keep the teachers inspired as well as the students.
Let me tell you what my acronym is for TEACH. So TeachKind, that's what your program is, right?
Yes.
So TEACH stands for, ready? Telling everyone awareness creates happiness. TEACH, and that. Kind, keep inspiring noble deeds.
Yes.
Because you tell everyone that awareness creates happiness, and be aware of these beings that are also animate, and they are oftentimes exploited, and that I have responsibility and can take responsibility for the injustice and right it. That's what we can do. It doesn't matter how young or old I am. I can help, right?
Absolutely.
Woo!
And this kind of work can do so much. I'll tell you, I showed a video of a puppy mill rescue to a class of fifth graders in the Bronx. And for anyone who doesn't know what a puppy mill is, it's, where, dogs are being kept in cages and just forced to, have puppies over and over and over again.
By the way, I
And
didn't know that. I did not know what a puppy mill is. Thank
yes.
you.
So, I was showing a rescue of puppies from a puppy mill to a class of fifth graders. And it showed images like rescuers using tools to cut open the cages because they had rusted shut. So it was very moving footage. And after the video, a boy raised his hand to joke, point, and poke fun at another boy in the class who had cried during the video. And I just simply explained that it was okay to cry because it just showed that you're compassionate and caring. And Barry, as soon as I said this, other hands flew up to say that they had cried too. Now, the interesting thing here, the key thing here is that these kids, they lived in the projects, they had rough lives, and they were not used to being able to let their guard down and show their emotions. So when I reflected on what had happened, I realized that we had created this safe space for these children to show their empathy. And that's why humane education is a win-win for everyone, not just animals, but children too. And, you don't need to cry in order to be a compassionate person.
Right.
But the key here is creating that safe space and allowing young people to show their empathy. If they never get to practice showing empathy, that could lead them down a dangerous path. So we encourage educators to tap into the children's empathy with a topic they're naturally interested in, but not just teaching them about their body parts or what they eat or their habitat, but really talking to them about their, animals' plight in the world. And Barry, we have the perfect thing for educators to do that. One of my favorite resources that we have here at TeachKind are our animal rescue reading comprehension sheets. And
I love it. And again, everything is available or will be available at barryshore.com. BARRYSHORE, barryshore.com. Access these things. It doesn't matter where you live in the world, whether you live in Pakistan, Afghanistan, in Latin America, anywhere, even the United States, anywhere in the world, these teaching aids will help everyone. It helps younger people, helps older people. It creates the climate crisis that you're talking about. I know what you mean, but I think the real climate crisis is that of not being humane. That's the crisis we're facing. When we can do a shift in people's attitude, as you said, and make people aware that there is joy in the world. And joy, by the way, is a great acronym that stands for Journey of You. That's what joy is all about. Journey of You. Doesn't matter where you live. You're in the projects. You live in a dictatorship. It doesn't matter. You can release yourself with these wonderful, humane tools because animals are ubiquitous. Yeah. And we need to make sure that we have a relationship that's positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Wonderful, Elizabeth, can you give us one or two examples of what you did before with language about keeping two birds alive at one time?
Oh, yes. I love that. So really, since the language we use directly influences how we think and act, thoughts become things. So many of TeachKind's materials highlight the importance of choosing words that are inclusive and respectful of everyone, no matter their species. So, for example, just looking at how we teach nouns to children, that, we usually teach them that animals, what's a noun? Person, place, or thing. And we tell children to put animals in the thing category. Something as simple as that, just telling children that animals belong in a category with inanimate objects like tables and chairs is not fostering that inclusive language. And, just being mindful of that and just adding another column for animals. Here at PETA, we believe that animals are persons too and are people too. But for young children, it's more practical to just add an extra column for
well, they are. Everybody can see an animal is an animate object. Matter of fact, the beginning of the word animal is animate.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
is a living, breathing being. It's not a stone. It's important. What you just said is really vital. So I
And
I love working with words. So let me hear a couple other common ways of expression that we can do a shift that just is fun.
absolutely. Well, we have our wildly popular animal-friendly idioms, and that was one I mentioned at the beginning. Instead of saying "kill two birds with one stone," you can say "feed two birds with one stone." And these making the idioms animal-friendly inspire children to replace harmful phrases like "more than one way to skin a cat," or "beat a dead horse."
Ah!
Yes, if you when you think about what you're actually saying, many people just use it as throwaway terms, but children are just learning how to interact with the world and what everything is about. So we have to be very intentional with, how we speak in front of children. They're listening to us, and so instead you can say instead of more than one way to skin a cat, you could say more than one way to peel a potato. Instead of beat a dead horse, you can say feed a fed horse. And let me tell you, we have free posters with these animal friendly idioms that you can download on the teachkind.org website. And teachers have so much fun with this. Kids love it. They send videos to us about when they're doing this activity with young people, and the kids just stop in their tracks and say, "Oh, I can't believe we say beat a dead horse." They just really get engaged, and they try, they start coming up with their own animal friendly idioms to replace the
So
harmful
you
ones.
just made me open up my eyes and my heart. Let's be blunt. Social media is at one and the same time a detrimental aspect for learning, and it could be used as a positive one. Are you posting some, or maybe you can't, I don't know, because of privacy issues. Can you post some of these kids doing these kind of things? I mean, that would be so I can see 1 million, 2 million, 5 million views of young kids saying, "Well, we don't do that. We feed the horse. We don't feed him." I
Well, we have lots of kids videos of kids doing wonderful things to promote compassion for animals on the PETA
Okay,
Kids
so remember, all you have to
Instagram.
do is go to barryshore.com and it's all there. barryshore.com, and you can see kids and videos and things. This is one of the most uplifting, inspiring podcasts I've ever had the privilege of being involved in. Because as you know, acronyms, words, that's my métier. This is what I love to do. And we have a saying that in the world that I live in and the people that I encourage and work with my platform, which is an amazing situation. It's one of our sponsors. And we say we speak about the idea that speech is the vessel that channels goodness in the world. Speech is the vessel that channels blessing into the world. That's what speech does. So when you are conscious of what you're saying, you're bringing blessing into the world. You're bringing goodness into the world. Just like Elizabeth says, this is so wonderful. This brings about life. Life.
Absolutely. And just to, for your teachers out there to bring it back to academics as well, because it's not mutually exclusive. This is not something that you have to do extra. It can be fully integrated. Just as simple as encouraging children to not call animals it, which refers to them as a thing. Something just a little shift like that, can have so much impact. And I just wanted to, talk about how when this motivates children, I've seen children learn about, some type of plight of animal and then go home and do their own research, come back and want to do a presentation for the whole class. Now, this is key. This is key because if you're having kids work on some issue related to animals, I'll give you an example. I read, I don't remember what magazine it was at the time, but it was for kids, and it was about gopher tortoises, I believe in Florida. And I don't know if it's still legal to do this now, but at the time, it was legal for builders. Now, gopher tortoises make their burrows under the ground, and that's where they live. And at the time, it was legal for builders to build on top of them. And what happens to the gopher tortoises? They suffocate and die. So I had a student who, after she read that, was so galvanized, and she was a newcomer. She had just come from the Dominican Republic, because I used to teach English language learners. She went home, put together a presentation, and she came in and she wanted to do this for all the fourth grade classes to get the message out, because I let them know that if you learn about an issue, one thing that you can do, if you feel like you can't go out and do anything, the one thing you can definitely do is tell other people, get the message out about that. So, and the beautiful thing you'll see when you have children work on an issue that they're passionate about to get that message out, they will go back and revise and edit their writing over and over again. And this is something
This is critical for learning. Thank
children
you.
do not want to do that. That is something very challenging to get kids to go back and revise and edit their writing. But if you tell them, is your writing clear? Because if not, no one will understand what your message is about how to help animals. Oh, that just unleashes such motivation in children. It's beautiful. It's a miracle.
As I mentioned before, this acronym for TEACH, telling everyone, which is what you just talked about, this young girl, telling everyone awareness creates happiness. When people are aware of the plight of something and we have an opportunity to shift our perspective, well, guess what happens? You become the best you, which is what this podcast is not about. Barry Shore, nice guy that he is, or Elizabeth, wonderful being. It's about you becoming the best you. And that's really what this is all about. Now, we have sponsors that we love and love the show. So we urge you to consider using their products and services. We're going to do a quick break. We'll be back with more Elizabeth and Teach Kind to the world. Be right back after this brief message. Don't go away.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, so always looking for finding the good. Have we found good in abundance? We're talking about the ability for speech to channel blessing into the world through this remarkable program called TeachKind, which is part of the PETA world, PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. And it's a worldwide organization, primarily in the United States, let's be clear, but worldwide, touching millions and millions of people. Everybody can access these free, how should we say, you said it before beautifully, pages that are missing from the textbook. It's videos, it's tools that you can educate yourself and anybody you know. It's for your family, your friends, your relatives, anybody that you know should access. Go to barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE. Everything is there for you. And it's at no cost. Yes, I'm sorry, there is a cost. The cost is your time, your most valuable asset. It's your thinking. You want to align your thoughts, your words, and your deeds. And now you can be teaching kindness in the world. Elizabeth, let's talk about, I know I want to use this as a teaching moment. If you can give me an example, you said elephants. Now, I happen to have a special place in my soul for elephants for a particular reason, which I may tell you, but you mentioned that the possibility is real that in many parts of the world, certain parts of the world, specifically Africa, I think, African elephants, more than Asian at the moment, are under attack. And is that really true? The possibility that we could lose elephants in Africa?
Not only elephants, Barry, but some species of monkeys are becoming endangered because they're being taken from the wild and brought to be used for experimentation. So
No.
yes, you could find more information about that at PETA.org. Yes, so we have scientists who work at PETA, and in particular some a primatologist who is working specifically on this issue. It's happened. You can get more information, as I said, at PETA.org. It's very sad, but bringing these issues to young people is really the key. Again, it's not just about talking to kids about their what an animal eats, and what if they have feathers or fur. Talking to them about their plight in the world. Every animal has a plight, and how they can help. Kids are ready. They're not like adults, who are a little jaded sometimes. They're ready. Kids, they find out about a problem. They're ready to roll up their sleeves and say, what can we do? Where can we go? Let's have a fundraiser. Let's do something, and so
That was
they're ready
great.
to go. All it takes is, for the adults in their lives to give them a little guidance, and, just a little bit. Sometimes we give awards out all the time to teachers and children. And I love this. There was a 6-year-old. Actually, she was here in Virginia. She saw a news report with her, I think it was her grandmother, about firefighters who rescued these dogs from a fire along. I don't know if the family was there as well, and they were putting the respirators, the oxygen masks on the dogs to revive them. And she learned that not all fire stations have these masks for dogs. And she connected it to, well, I have a dog, and what if there was a fire here and the fire station near me didn't have these masks? She put out a lemonade stand, and she started raising money, and she raised enough money to get those oxygen masks for animals for various fire stations. This
Okay,
is
I
what
want to
the
put
young
you on pause.
generation is doing.
I need to put you on pause for a moment. What you just articulated,
6 years old.
and what I saw in the video, because I saw that video of her doing it, the lemonade stand, the genius of the human being that's under 10 years old is remarkable. You cannot understand how positive and purposeful and powerful and pleasant these beings are. This is our future. And what you're doing with these TeachKind programs, in my humble opinion, is truly making a shift in perspective. And when you do that, you're making a shift in the world. As I said, this darkness seems to be reigning, but its light is much greater. This one girl doing that and not just thinking about it, taking action and manifesting. It's called Dream Big, doing remarkable, exciting, amazing manifestations. Big stands for believe in giving. That's what she did.
Yes,
She
and according to her mother, she didn't give her much assistance, much guidance. It was primarily the 6-year-old, and this it abounds everywhere, And a sweet spot really is 10 and 11-year-olds, in that 5th grade age, where they are ready to hear about different perspectives, what's happening in the world, and they're hungry for that information, and then they want to do something and take action, and they have a little bit of agency at that age. And so we're constantly giving awards out to 10 and 11-year-olds for there was a 10-year-old who started something called trash fishing with his dad, I believe in the Detroit River, where instead of fishing, which would be killing animals who live in the water, they went out on their kayaks and their boats, and they started picking up the trash from the water, and they started this whole movement. And now I think they have like competitions to see who can collect the most trash from the water. Like, how amazing is that? 10 years old.
How amazing it is it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's enlightening. It's uplifting. It's inspiring. This is the power of we call this, you ready for this? We call it dog poop. Ready? Dog poop. Doing of good, power of one person.
I love that. I love your acronyms, Barry.
I would love you to give dog poop awards.
I'm going to write that down. I'm actually writing that down as we
Right.
speak.
Doing of good, power of one person. I have my cards. We'll discuss that after line. Okay. Well, I'm only sorry to say the words that are about to come out of my mouth, that our time together at this particular juncture is closing on us, and I have 3 questions for you, wonderful Elizabeth. You ready?
Sure.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Oh, absolutely. I can't believe this is over so quickly. It goes so fast.
Okay, then that's number 1. Number 2, now this, you only have 80 seconds to answer. Elizabeth Chiriboga, what is your most fervent desire?
Oh, well, I just would like to encourage everyone to, we need to help children find something to care about. And they already care about animals. So, we have meaningful educational activities to engage young people, and it's a win for animals who will benefit from smarter, more caring humans. And all our free learning resources are available at teachkind.org. And you can find even more ways to help animals in your own neighborhood and around the world at PETA.org. So just take action, get involved, and be joyful.
So your most fervent desire is take action, get involved, take action, and find greater joy in life. Good. Now, may I give you a hug in front of, now we're up to 388,722 people around the world. Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving, which is what you're all about. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Remember, this is the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore. And you're here because of one reason only. The best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Why you? Become the better you, the best you make the world a better place. We build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. You get engaged, you learn, you take action, you make a difference in the world. You're mad. Remember the 3 fundamentals of life. Your life has purpose. You lead a purpose-driven life. You go mad, make a difference in the world. And the 3rd is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. And the result is you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. One of those words, WWW, what a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, which is what Elizabeth is all about, creating this world we want to live in, a world of the humane and the animate and the life-giving essence of all beings. Causing rethinking. That's what kids are doing. That's what we're going to do. Enabling all to excel. You want to shift your perspective, keep that F in place so the other stuff happens. And what the result will be the 6 most important words that we're going to internalize, utilize, and leverage in life, which are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose your words and respond in any given situation. Use 4-letter words like we do, but we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Love, life, hope, free, play, pray, swim, PETA. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. FU, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends, want you to point your finger, have a twinkle in your eye, smile on your face, and tell them all, FU, but add capital N, capital N. Where'd you get that? So I listen to Barry Shore and the Joy of Living podcast. He wants to teach the world to FU, capital N, capital N. And then what's going to happen? You're going to use the 2 most important words, 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, and you'll make the world a better place. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Everyone you meet, including animals, is going through something you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Keep inspiring noble deeds. And our blessing from Elizabeth and Barry is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad, go make a difference. Elizabeth, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.